everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of Wheel Work. Going to be working on the CBR650F again today, and the mission for today is to try and improve some visual aspects of this bike. Some of probably the most common modifications that most people do to their bikes. A lot of this stuff is kind of second nature, but things I've always done to my own bikes, but you know what, let's just get into it and see how it looks after.
First up, we're going to fit some LED indicators to the bike, starting with the front. First thing you need to do is remove the front fairings with all of the associated hardware, bolts and clips. Then pull back the sleeve on the connector and unclip it. Remove the one bolt that holds the indicator in. Then pull the bracket off, feed the wire through and remove the old indicator. Installation of the new one is just doing the reverse of what we just did. Installation of the indicator on the other side is just the opposite. As we are going from conventional indicators to LEDs, we do need to replace the flasher relay on the bike to rectify the flash rate of the indicators. It's not in the easiest spot under the fuel tank, but once the front fairings are off, it's easy to get the tank up and out of the way to get to the relay. Just a couple of hoses, the main fuel feed line, and then the electrical connector, and the tank comes completely off the bike. Then just a couple of small clips holding this plastic cover on, remove those, and then the relay sits in underneath that. Pull out the old relay, put the new one in, put the fuel tank back on and reassemble the front of the bike.
So we've successfully done our front indicators, and we've lifted the tank off and done our flasher relay. So our indicators, which are LED, flash at the correct rate. So that was a success. That left one. So next up we're going to move on to tail tidy for the rear, and some LED indicators to match the fronts and the back as well. So looking at it, we'll just get straight into it.
To remove the tail tidy, undo the electrical connectors for the rear indicators, brake light and number plate light. Then there's just 3 Allen bolts to undo, and then remove the whole assembly. Once the LED indicators are fitted to the tail tidy, feed the electrical connectors back up through the rear of the bike, bolt it all back together and plug it in. Also decided to tint the rear taillight to match the smoky look of the indicators. You can either remove the taillight completely or do as I did and take the easy way out and just mask up around it. Make sure you use proper taillight tint.
Next up we're going to chuck on our Honda tank tape. Eyeballing it is probably not the best way of doing it, but each to their own.
Last, but definitely not least, we're going to remove the factory front visor and replace it with a Puig double bubble dark smoke visor. Extremely simple job on a bike like this, just 4 bolts and it pops right off. Installation is just as easy as removal. Just make sure not to over tighten the bolts so you don't crack the plastic visor.
again for watching another episode of Wheel Work. Hope you enjoyed part 2 of the CBR650 build, I guess you can call it. We've got a whole bunch of aesthetic things done on the bike. Yeah, if you like what you see, please subscribe and join us next time in the third and final installment of this bike, where we put this thing on the dyno and unlock some more power out of it and show you guys what goes on here in Australia with the restrictions on this, where we turn all that stuff off and see what this bike can actually do. What do you think, mate? I don't think he cares. See you next time, guys. Thanks again.